Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Sunday morning. If it's not 11 a.m. on Sunday, Eastern Time, then you're watching this as a video. But the good news is it doesn't matter, other than you can't use the live chat. So, anybody that's new in tarot time, I usually do a little bit of a talk about the tarot, one little aspect of it, do a meditation card for the group, do a 3-card reading, then finish off with an angel message. Excuse me, my nose is runny this morning. But don't think I have a cold. Pollen's in the air. So anyways, let me put on my trusty glasses, my readers, and see who's on. Hi, Susan. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Laura, Michael, Yvonne, and Janice, and Susan again. So here we are, another Sunday. I may be a little bit repetitive this morning. And a lot's going on. So during this time of a lot of change, we're in a huge great awakening now in our society and in our collective consciousness. So I started my channel partly to help assist other people to awaken, and it's really helped me awaken also. So we're a community here, and I thank everybody that's here. Welcome to the community. So in a couple of minutes, I'm going to start the tarot stuff. I usually wait a minute or two because on a Sunday morning, people sometimes they come on a little bit late. So that'll give me an opportunity to just have a few announcements. So we have another full moon coming up a week from tomorrow. So that Monday, I'm going to do an angelic channeling here on the channel, channeling on the channel. And that'll be 7:00 Eastern time next Monday. And then on May the 2nd, I'm going to do live mediumship on the channel. So I do that every 6 weeks or so, right around the Celtic Sabbath. So that's going to be then. There's a couple of other things, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. Anyway, so let's talk about the week coming up. And we have a waxing moon. We have a lot of planets changing signs. Like the sun's going to go into Taurus, I think, on Tuesday is it? And then I believe Venus goes into Taurus, or Mercury, or both of them. And I think Pluto goes retrograde. By the way, I have one of my 2 top astrologer friends that I know, Sharita Starr being one of them, and she's going to do with me and Heather Starra a fun little Mercury retrograde prep in the middle of May. But there's also Armand Diaz, and he has a channel on YouTube called Integral Astrology, and he did a very complete weekly forecast on his channel based on what's going on astrologically. So if you want to check him out, feel free to do that. And the other thing I wanted to mention about this week is that on Wednesday, the 21st, we have the moon is in its 11th day. So it's in the 11th day of its cycle. And according to yogic philosophy, specifically Kundalini yoga, when you come into the 11th day of the moon, that's when your glandular systems and your bodies are resetting and getting ready for the higher energies of the full moon cycle. So the 11th day, the moon sort of loosely overlaps when the moon starts to trine the sun and starts to get full, and then it leads into the full moon on Monday. So the reason I'm mentioning that is if you really are sensitive to the moon or sensitive to energy, what you want to do is eat light and do more meditation or yoga or take good care of your body on Wednesday and have a lot of greens and eat lighter. So in honor of, I pulled this card as something to talk about today. I use the Hanson Roberts deck. I'm just tilting it because I noticed that there's a glare. And excuse me, the Empress is actually ruled by the planet Venus, and we're about to go into Taurus, the Taurus season. Now, technically in the tarot, it's not the Empress card, it's the Hierophant that rules the sign Taurus. But I like this one because we talked about the emperor last time. So let's talk about the empress, because the emperor is sort of the divine, powerful masculine, and this is sort of the mature, divine feminine. And when you see the empress, if that comes up in a reading, that represents security. It can represent matters of the heart, but Venus is also about beauty. It's about stability. It's about financial stability. It's about the home. And of course, it's the planet of love. And as we get into the Taurus season, we get into that time of the year where everything is kind of like hot to trot in nature. Basically, trees are pollinating, animals are coming out and they're mating. And with the deer, you start to see the fawn in June around here. So this is all about fertility. And I want to talk about this card. It's key 3 in the major arcana. The major arcana talks about the different levels of consciousness on the spiritual path. And when we reach key 3, we reach the place of expansion through the heart and expanding through the divine feminine principle. So I just wanted to talk about that as being my little mini tarot tutorial for the day. So let us go into a meditation card for the day. And hi, Colleen. I seen who else came in. And hi, Chris. And hi, Lauren and Laura. Okay, so in my tarot times, I always pull a meditation card. This is going to tap into the energies of our collective consciousness, not just the people that are alive, but the people that are going to see this as a video also. So I'm going to mix them up a little bit. And our meditation card will be a card that you can work with during the week that will optimize wherever you are at, or wherever we are at, wherever we are at. I'm seeing what bird is flying out. I think it was a hawk, actually, not an eagle. Oh, interesting. Oh, where did that go? Oh, yeah, I was going to talk about her also, and they both kind of popped up together. In fact, I think Spirit just chose my meditation card for me, and this is it. And the high priestess is also an aspect of the divine feminine. And she has the triple goddess crown on her head also. So that represents the 3 aspects of the feminine side of deity, the maiden, mother, and crone, as opposed to the masculine side, which is the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. So it's a very similar energy. It's about 3s, although she's key too. And the Empress, I had her out also a second ago. Here she is. She's key 3. So these are different aspects of feminine power, and especially for the men, developing your divine feminine. I shouldn't say especially for men, for women and men. Developing in the divine feminine is really also about developing your inner power, your inner strength. And it's been shown by science that women have higher pain thresholds than men, which comes in handy, I suppose, when you're giving birth, right? And tend to have a higher resonance of intuitive and emotional strength and power. So embracing that in this society that's changing, and when there's a lot of pressure in the society to go more with the rational and the concrete rather than the subtle and the intuitive, it's important that we're able to step into our divine feminine, into that aspect of our power, and to be able to go into our meditation and be able to go into our inner selves and to be able to go into our presence and to be able to connect with spirit as well. And as I'm talking, Spirit showing me the image of an owl. And for this group, that would really mean also about, enhancing your intuition and going into we'll say the depths of our being, or the depths of our psyche, because the owls are called the night eagles in some of the Native American traditions, where the eagle sort of opens the doors to illumination. The owls can do that in the hidden side of ourselves. So it could be a statement that we, as a community here on the Medium channel, and people that watch my videos and follow my live events, that we're really called upon to do some collective shadow work, and the word soul searching came on as well. So I feel like the combinations of energy that are coming in with these cards and with the image of the owl is really about doing our inner work, and really more than reacting to all the crazy changes in the society, because there's a lot of charged issues now. There have been for a while, for years, but certainly with the virus and the aftermath, that's been the case in 2020s and the 2021s. So the owls can help us to look within and to clear the old shadows, the old programs, the old patterns that evolved from childhood or evolved from our response to society, and no matter what your belief system is, with handling what's going on in the world, the virus and the vaccines, or whatever, that we do have an intuitive core, and we do have an inner core that's trying to help tell us what to do, both collectively and individually. And there is a lot of fear programming also as well. And in order to be able to overcome that and to be more empowered, and to draw more from spirit rather than the negative side of the collective consciousness, it's important to work on clearing those old stories, those old patterns, those old shadows. And the medicine of owl can help you to do that. So I just wanted to put that out there. So okay. I'm getting back to the high priestess. So she came forth to be our meditation card and our guide for the week. She's all about mystery. So there's a lot of lunar symbology. In fact, the card, I believe, is ruled by the moon, right? Because the moon card is actually ruled by Pisces, according to what scholars of the tarot are telling us. And she has it looks like a Coptic cross, so that's about spirituality also. This is another symbol of spirituality, and the the lunar symbols and everything. She's in the pillars also, like a few of the other cards. One is black, one is white, and she's kind of like in the middle here. And it's kind of like she's here to really kind of show us the way. And it's interesting because I'm seeing a lot of serpent, like snake energies I'm talking about, are also snakes are also a reference to feminine power, divine feminine, about healing. So people that have snake medicine as one of their totem animals tend to be very powerful healers. But it's also about shedding skin. So these are all kind of things that are coming up. I mean, every card has a variety of meanings attached to it. But the idea of using this as a meditation card would be to either use your own deck if you have tarot cards. Mine is the Hanson Roberts. I'm just changing the angle because of the glaring. Oops, that's worse. Or just take a mental snapshot of mine, and then when you meditate, kind of visualize yourself stepping into the card, and then you start to see not just this small window here of the scene, but you can step into the panoramic scene and become part of it, and interact with the other elements of the scene. And it's always good to, as you meditate, to get present, to breathe, to step into the scene, to feel as well as see, feel, touch, smell, hear, and see what messages that you get, or what spirit's trying to tell you about the awakening of your own divine feminine. And that's really part of the awakening that's happening now. 3,000 plus years of patriarchal rule. Like everything in nature, there's an oscillation, there's highs, there's lows. Everything moves in waves, everything moves in frequency and pattern. What goes up must come down. So basically, we've been in more of a divine masculine energy for several thousand years, and honestly, not all of it's divine. In fact, some of it's downright undivine. But the point being is now the pendulum swinging, so the oscillation is going in the other direction, where we're awakening more to the divine feminine. So just like night will follow day and day will follow night, everything in nature moves in patterns and waves and predictable patterns. And once you understand how that is, it applies to the microcosm and the macrocosm. So what happens inside of an atom happens in the universe, but one's microcosm and one's macrocosm. And that's where quantum theory comes from. So on that note, let us do our 3 cards for the week and see what's up. Last week was interesting. I think certainly the specifics about pulling the Johnson & Johnson vaccine was a good hit on my part and Spirit's part. I forgot what else came up, but I was thinking as the week was going on that was one of my more accurate tarot, weekly tarot readings since I started this. Really what I'm aiming to do is just get a feel for the energy and how that's going to affect us as this group, and maybe get a feeling what's going on in the world. My general sense is last week was very energetically charged, and this week probably will be too, especially because the moon is waxing, getting ready to go full, and there's a lot of astrological shifts, but I'm not feeling like it will be as charged, but I'll see what shows up in the cards, or they may tell me differently. All right. So I'm just mixing, and I'm just going to ask Spirit to guide my hand to help me pull the right cards for this group for today. This one. And I'm thinking too much, so let me just clear my mind a second. No. It's been one of those mornings. Here we go. I found it. Thank you, Spirit. Today's my Saturday morning because I work on Saturdays. Okay, so this is what I pulled, and right off the bat, even though I wouldn't necessarily take this as a literal meaning, I get the feeling from looking at these cards about a lot of questioning of authority, a lot of questioning of values, a lot of questioning of the media. It's ironic, I have to say, that given that I'm talking about the divine feminine, 2 kings came up, and although this is kind of a male-ish figure, this is also the sign Virgo, which is, I guess that's a feminine sign, but it's interesting. There's a lot of maleness that comes in the card. When I just finished talking about the divine feminine and all these highly feminine cards, I mean, everything's in balance, but the Hermit in the middle is really, for us, it's telling us to trust our divine wisdom and everything, and trust our inner voice, because some people, in terms of immunology, is that the right word, immunology, have already made their decision. Some people are still making their decision. Of course, I'm talking about the vaccines, and I definitely get the feeling like to really do your research and do your homework. And I've been for weeks doing that myself, because I know what I feel intuitively, but I also want to understand what's happening scientifically. And by studying great thinkers like Dr. Joe Dispenza and others, it's actually been shown, and I've said this in another video also, it's been proven through empirical data that if you are able to really work with your heart center, like raise the energy and breathe through your heart, like open and expand your heart and feel gratitude. That doesn't mean saying, thank you, God, for my house, thank you for my car, but really, really feeling it. If you can do that for 10 minutes, they showed in the data that people could attain up to a 50% increase in immunoglobulin in their systems, which is basically what helps us to combat bacteria and viruses. And fear and anxiety reduces it. And I think I put this out on Facebook. I did it again this morning, and people were kind of not attacking me, but sort of questioning it. It's like, because there's a lot of fear with the virus and the vaccines and everything. And I just kind of put it out there. It's like, you can take your vaccine and still work with your immune system. It's not like either or, basically. It's the point that I'm trying to make. But anyways, I get a real medical feeling with this. We may find that a little bit more news on things that are going on with either the coronavirus itself or the vaccines or other methods to control it may come under a lot of fire, I want to say as well. I get this King of Swords as the outcome as it's something with authority. So there's a lot of questioning of authority, but this card is saying to really use your heads. And anytime that you feel anxious, which for me is anytime I watch the news, so I don't watch it that much. Anytime you get that sense of anxiety about what's going on, really go back into reason and go back into your heart again. Because I feel like there's telling us really to think things through also. And our thoughts affect our emotions. Our thoughts are of the mind. Our emotions are of the body. So what we think creates the reactions in the body, and that's the emotions. I mean, emotions, energy. That's why it's the letter E in the word motion. But that energy affects the glandular system. There's like, I think, 70 or 80 different glands that fire depending on our emotions, and they're chemicals. So obviously, chemicals in the body are going to affect body functions, including the immune function. So I feel like one of the messages for us is breathe through the anxiety and the fear. It's okay to feel. In fact, it's good to feel. If you feel anxiety, you feel anxiety. That's normal when your safety is being threatened. And that's what's happening on a lot of different fronts. Our sense of safety, security, and survival is coming under fire. And our heads are spinning, like we don't know what to believe. Basically, it's like, do we believe, the science? Do we believe spirituality? Do we believe this? Do we believe that? And when you start to get into a tizzy like that, just step back, because Swords is also about air. It's about breathing. So long, deep breathing is an amazing and a simple tool that I don't think there's too many videos that I've done that I haven't talked about long, deep breathing. Clear your mind. When you feel that anxiousness, try to clear your mind and breathe from your diaphragm. Feel the energy, feel the love, inhale love, joy, and spirit into your heart. Exhale and release fear, release other people's energies. And 3 minutes at a time, 2 to 4 times a day, you're going to start to get calmer. You're going to start to respond differently emotionally. Because when you're in the emotions, there's not a heck of a lot you can do other than use your reasoning, obviously, but you're still going to feel the emotions. It's a lot of our emotional responses, well, all of them really are programmed, but not all programs are negative. The subconscious mind works on programs. That's just how our subconscious mind works. But it's under, beneath, below, that we're not aware of it. So you were basically programmed to react emotionally and react mentally to different stimuli in our society. And the only way to shift that is to change the programming. Long, deep breathing is sort of like a doorway into starting to change your programming, basically. So let me see what else. I like to turn this around so I can kind of take a look and see a couple of other people are coming in. I can't really read right now. Somebody's sending me a lot of messages. Yeah, if we watch less news, we're living in fear. Yeah, I'd say everything in balance. Yeah, here and embrace. Yeah, thank you, KD. That's. Oh, okay. We're getting a little bit of astrological input here. I just wanted to read what you're saying. All right, so Yeah, the Hermit is, is about divine guidance. It's reversed though, as well. And I feel like, there may be it just kind of also gives you the feeling that like that there may be some thing going on in Washington, or some new proposals on how to handle things. There's been a lot of violence around. Much of it doesn't make the news, but there have been like little mini riots and a lot of uprising that's going on. So that may get addressed also as well, or there may be some news coming out as well. Um, I feel like there may be something. I'm just seeing another volcano or another like eruption coming up, I want to say as well. So seismic activity. The Earth's been very active lately. A lot of volcanoes, lots of earthquakes that have been popping up. A lot of really wild weather oscillations, and it's been in the 70s in Alaska, and snowing in the Rockies. Basically, there's been a lot of craziness. A super typhoon in April, which is, I believe, in the the Western Pacific, right? That'd be in the West Pac, as we call it in meteorology. March and April tend to be the slowest times for cyclones, and November is the peak. Although the typhoon season doesn't have a season, so you can get. But anyway, nature is really doing her thing. Um, Earth changes are really kicking in. Earth Day's coming up on Thursday, so we're in Earth Week. So a lot of news about the Earth and the climate. All the debates may start to kick up again as well. And I just feel like we're gonna see some things in the news that we're just not gonna like, because it's gonna just make us feel like more of our freedoms are being taken from us. And whenever there's a crisis, that's basically what happened. If I'll put it this way, if I was a conspiracy theorist, I would think it was orchestrated. But like 9/11 came, then came the Patriot Act, and now we have a virus that's very uncertain, very very unpredictable. People are getting sick and people are dying. Um, People are more often than not are doing fine with it. And then we have the vaccines, which is a very high profit margin for the pharmaceuticals. And then we also have the tech giants stepping in and stand to make a lot of money from this also, because they create the databases for our vaccine passports. So we'll all be on the database basically if things follow through the way it's planned. And in a sense, the vaccines are here to give us more freedom, right? So we can start to go to concerts again, we can travel or whatever. But in a way, it's taking away freedom, because we are all going to be on another database, and we don't know what's going to happen with that. And it all, to the average person, seems like, well, it's free. We can get our vaccines for free, or insurance pays for it or whatever. And then we get the stimulus packages. But then in the next couple of years, you're going to see your taxes go up. And within 10 years, everything that was given to us for free is going to be paid back, basically. So that's kind of how it works. And that's not being a conspiracy theorist. That's just how it works. And I think more and more people are going to start to really realize that. So, yeah, I, this isn't really revolutionary. This isn't really high energy. Maybe later in the week, it may get a little bit dicey again, but it does show that there's a lot of rumblings beneath the surface. And I feel like one of the messages for us as a group is to really work on our groundedness, other than long, deep breathing, practice every day, just sending roots into the earth and feeling nourished by the earth, I want to say as well. As I'm talking, I'm seeing plastics. We may hear, because it's Earth Week also, we may hear a lot about the all the microplastics that they're finding in the Great Lakes, and how um, how that's really impacting the environment now and everything, and how enough isn't being done. It's like, it's great that they took away plastic bags, but we still have plastic bottles. So it's like, Okay. um, and that's just basically it. I feel like collectively we may feel a little bit lightheaded this week, so we may feel a lot of energy shifting. Maybe a little bit more emotional than usual. The thing is, I feel like this is telling us not to go into reaction, but rather stay in our empowerment, stay in our root, work with spirit, whatever your perception of source or a higher power is, work with that. And the message is, we'll be okay, but we have a pretty long way to go as far as this phase of the awakening. But at the end of the day, this is an awakening. This is evolution in action. We are living in really amazing times. It's historical, really. And there's an accelerated awakening that's happening, like a raising of consciousness, and the energy shifting on the planet that's measured through something called the Schumann frequencies. And it's probably increased by 1,000-fold already from about 3 or 4 years ago, which is a vibration. And the other thing I wanted to say is that astrology is a lot of astrological stuff happening, and every heavenly body, whether it's stars or planets, has a vibration within collective consciousness that affects us. That's why astrology works. And I do feel like one of the things that are coming up, maybe not this week, but in the next couple of years or whatever, is they're learning how to measure some of these more subtle vibrations that they couldn't measure before, based on advances in technology and quantum physics and stuff like that. So anyway, let me pull an angel card for message and let us get on our way. And just wanted to read for now, explaining that, which thank you, KD. Yeah, I agree. That's why I mentioned Joe Dispenza a lot, because he's really a pioneer in this whole movement. Although there's a lot of other great scientists. I remember in the late 70s reading, God, what's the author's name? Freecall. Well, the book's called The Tao of Physics, TAO, The Tao of Physics. And they talked about in that book how science, for a while may have started to disprove spirituality. Like, in other words, like Native Americans would see different weather phenomena as spiritual entities, like tornadoes, for example, or mystics would see diseases as actually negative entities. And I remember a couple of times that I got sick. I had a really negative visitation in my dream, and I started to get sick. Like one time when I got pink eye years ago, I had a dream where some creepy man touched my left hand, and then I woke up, and then in 2 days my left eye had pink eye. Then within a week, both of my eyes had pink eye. And so there's this belief that disease is caused by like demons or negative spirits or whatever, or entities, we'll say, because it's neither positive nor negative. It's what we judge it. Then science proves germs and bacteria and viruses or whatever. But just because science proves that does not make the other belief not real. And it's just another way of explaining the same thing. And that's where we're going in science. That's where we're going in quantum physics, in my opinion. And and same thing with tornado. Just because science now proves it's called by wind shear, the moist air meets, cold front cuts into moist air. There's a wind shear turning winds with height, causes the clouds to roll, and the updraft or the downdraft causes a tornado. So we can scientifically know that, but that does not make tornadoes any less a spiritual phenomena. It's all energy. It's all consciousness. Everything breathes. Everything in the universe breathes. So, anyways. Thank you, Katie, for initiating my little conversation there. So here is our, from the Doreen Virtues Messengers of the Angels. Here's the card they chose. Francesca. So glad I have readers now, because now I don't have to squint. What do you desire right now? Visualize it and it will come about. Negativity will block your progress. And that's what the card looks like. So sometimes you can get messages from that. Is that, actually, it looked like a dolphin to me, but I don't think it really is. Um, and yeah, and I believe that everything's energy, consciousness is energy. What we think, feel, believe, and so forth creates a vibration and an energy. Quantum physics proves that we're electrical beings, and everything's electricity. So what we think actually affects matter, and so everything that we want already exists. And the time to really believe that is upon us now. So what do you want right now? Visualize it and feel it. When we visualize through all of our senses. So we feel it and we become it, and then we let go. And that's what a lot of people don't do, is that they don't let go. So the thing is, if you're really wanting something, you're kind of like in a lack mentality in a way, because you're telling the universe you don't have it or it doesn't exist in your life. And in your physical experience it may not, but energetically all possibilities exist. So wanting something, can push it away. It's kind of like you can always get what you want. It just takes a lot more work. But we're now learning that if you can go into source energy or collective consciousness or the quantum field or whatever you want to call it, and create from that field of energy that created everything, then you can manifest what you desire in your life. So rather than do even matter affecting matter, which is a slow process, you can actually go into source and create things that way. And it starts by not just wanting it, but having a pure desire, feeling like it's already happening and making it real that way. So that's what that card is telling us. This is a good time, for law of attraction work and everything. So let me just see what else you guys are saying, and before I hand up, RE Plastics. Oh, thank you for that. Almost half of the plastic the oceans are discarding. Seaspiracy. Yeah, I heard about that. Yes. I'm on fire to say good. Thank you, Sandra. All right, well, I'm gonna let you guys go because I try to keep this at a half hour. We're running a tad over. So have a really happy Sunday, everybody. It's chilly, but it's very pretty up here in the Catskills today. And we're getting that spring green color coming on this tree, which I really love. So happy spring, everybody. Tuesday, I'm gonna come on live again, right around 11:11, and because I talked about my morning routine last Tuesday, I'm gonna talk about my evening routine, like what I do before I go to bed, because my spiritual practice is 24/7, and people have been asking me to talk about that. So I started this new thing. I call it live chat, that I'm not going to do every week, but I come on, I'll talk about something spiritual, and then all those of you that are on the live chat, you can ask me questions and I'll address questions. So I'll do that for about a half hour, 45 minutes or so, around 11:11 on Tuesday. So again, thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful, blessed day, and see you next time.